Well, hello, everybody.
There's always a little bit of an awkward pause now.
There is. I see the little record button up here. I'm Ginger.
I'm me.
And this is Chattin with CHAP. Well, once again, I hopped on my imaginary plane to Greenland. Well, actually, it's not Greenland, but it's Greenland. And now I'm in Arizona.
But you'll all be happy to know that even though I've lived here since August, just last week, I hung some of my pictures. And so
Yay!
I don't look like I just have a bare wall behind me anymore.
It looks so nice. It looks so good.
Decorating. Oh, my. So anyway, awesome. I just had a couple things I wanted to mention about convention.
Okay. Say the date, because I was trying to talk about it and I couldn't remember exactly which dates it was. And I was like, oh no.
Okay. The date is now August 21st and 22nd.
21st and 22nd. Okay.
So if you've missed that, convention is not in June. It has been moved. It is August 21st and 22nd, still at the Lancaster County Convention Center. Thankfully, many of the vendors are able to join us that were previously registered, and all of our speakers, except for the ELFs, cannot make it, so we were sad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to get Heidi St. John.
Yay!
So that's exciting. So we're excited to have her, and hopefully we can have the ELFs back in the future since it didn't work for them. But the main thing is getting the word out there that convention has changed. And what's important is if you've registered already, I need to hear from you. So you should have already heard from me. You would have gotten an email with a link to fill out a form that tells me that either A, you're coming in August and we'll transfer your registration, B, you would like a refund, or C, we could gift that or transfer it to another family. If you have another family that you know of, you can't make it, but you want to transfer your registration to them. But it's important that I hear from every single person that's registered so that I know what to do. We gave the deadline of May 1st. So if you've registered and you didn't receive an email, please say something below. Last week, there were a couple comments that they hadn't received it. And so I went.
That's good.
Yeah. So if you didn't receive anything, please let us know. If you did and you're just thinking about it, praying about it, I get that. But it would be great if you could let us know by May 1st. So that at least acknowledge that you got the email, because I'm just afraid that people aren't getting the information, and that's my biggest concern. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I was talking with some friends about the Brad Stein night, the Comedy and Constitution night. So that is going to be cool. These are folks that used to homeschool, but now all their kids are graduated and they love Brad Stein. So I was like, ooh, you got to come, Friday night concert.
Yeah, let's let everybody, make sure everybody does know that evening, Comedy and Constitution is open to anyone. It's not just
anyone. Yeah,
not just anybody coming to the convention. So you can go online and there's a separate registration just to register for that. You'll see it under the convention registration. You can register just for that evening. If you know someone or grandparents or somebody that you want to bring along just for that evening, please invite them.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a fun night. Yeah. So, and I had something I want to mention again. I was on Monday, I think, and sharing that our marriage seminar that was supposed to happen this Friday and Saturday night has been postponed. We're not going to have one in person down there in Gilbertsville, but we are redesigning it to be an online class. So it's probably going to be set up more like we'll meet for X number of weeks on certain night and watch some videos and do projects and stuff. But we are in the process of redesigning that, and we will let you know the details later. So keep a lookout for that, and that is going to be happening, I'm thinking, May, June timeframe. So I will let you know more for sure, but keep that in mind. There was also an article that went out. I don't know if a lot of you saw it. I saw it was really making it circles about a symposium that happened in Harvard about banning homeschooling. So there's a group of unhappy people who don't like homeschooling trying to say how homeschooling itself needs to be banned. But Our HSLDA representative for Pennsylvania, Dan Beasley, did put out a great post about it today. I hope to have it on our Facebook news feed in the next day or so you can check up on it. But it's good to be aware of these things. If you weren't aware, read up on the article and Dan's points of view and things like that. Just aware that there's a possibility we'll have to stand up for our freedoms to do what as we choose as parents to do. So it is out there, but there's really good arguments for homeschooling. Of course, we know that, we've researched it, but interesting things to be made aware of. So just so you're in the know.
In the know. We like to keep everyone in. Yeah. Well,
for
Ginger,
sure.
We started, I don't even remember when anymore, on the live. We had 10 of them. We thought we'd be through them by now, but we didn't know we'd get thrown for a loop and have some other exciting things to talk about. But we are working our way back through that list, and we are at lie number 6. And lie number 6 is all the other homeschool moms have it all together.
All together. It's all tied with a bow and perfect.
So what do you think about that, Ginger? Please tell me what you think.
I think that's a lie.
It's
not true.
Sure is. Okay, this is how together I am. I had to check the list of lies 3 different times today, trying to remember one we were on. I could not keep it in here. It like would not stick.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and then we, Dee and I, got on here to record, and we're like, wait, what are we talking about again? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got it. So and yeah, it's in and out. You know,
you guys don't see the before, clips. We always have great things to say, so I hope we remember and we say them when we actually hit record, because we had a lot of great points that we made. Oh, Ginger, are you frozen? Come back to me, please. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm here. You were frozen. You're waiting.
It looked to me like you were frozen. Oh my word.
I was sitting there just waiting for you to stop being frozen.
This is going to be a hilarious one. Okay, well, seriously though, Ginger, what do you think about that? Like, how do you combat that feeling that others have it more together?
Well, it's always good to remember what we all see, like on Facebook. Social media is it can be helpful in some ways, but in ways like this, it's so not helpful, because our habit is to always show the best stuff. Mm-hmm. Look at this cool project we did. Look at this great field trip we did. Look at what my kid made. Look at this perfect homeschool day we had, or whatever. And there are some folks who are real out there, and they show all aspects, which can be very helpful too. But for the most part, we're showing that happy, wonderful, look at our photo up kind of a day. And that it creates this false thought that everybody's got it together and I don't have it together, and everything's just falling apart for me. And it's, why can't I measure up, and why can't I do this? This is so hard. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And so in that way, Facebook really doesn't help us with that. It's really the best way to get the real picture is to have those relationships where you're really talking to people about things, like those mom's room discussions at co-op, where you're like, what do you do for this? Because I don't even know what's going on, or how do you handle this? And some of it's not even school. Some of it's just, I had a conversation today with some friends, and they were like, yeah, my son doesn't even listen to me anymore. And I got to share with them, I think it was Norm Wakefield, or it could have been Hal and Melanie Young from a few years back at convention. I think it was Hal, Melanie Young, talked about when boys turn 13, it's just over for mom. It's just over. They listen to dad. And it's just something that happens in their male testosterone body or whatever. And that, if you didn't have that discussion or listen to that convention talk, you would be sitting there thinking, what is wrong with me? Why does my son not listening to anymore? Why does he not do any of the assignments I ask him to do? Why is he being so impossible? And it's just, and when you have a different perspective change, it just it changes how you respond to him. It changes how you handle the situation. It changes how you feel about yourself. So a lot of that is just You'll believe that lie if you aren't in conversation with other people.
Right. Correct.
You know, if you're not getting in there with other people and discussing real life issues and
Right.
being vulnerable,
Right.
you are going to think that everyone else has it all together, and
That's right. That's
and
right.
you don't. You won't gain their wisdom.
There's a couple of things I always share when I'm speaking to women. One of them is comparison is the theft of joy. It steals your joy every time. And also, you know, I remind people on social media, we are comparing our unfiltered life with a perfectly edited one. And so I always tell people, go ahead, go on my Facebook page. A lot of times my cover photo is my children. Yes, they're all smiling and look beautiful. Yes, I probably threatened them. We probably took like 60 shots. Like, you have to remember that. You have to remember that's the highlight reel, and it's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. You just have to keep that in mind as you're viewing it, that this is their highlight reel, and this isn't how it is for them all the time. The other thing I want you to remember is to just really think about, what does it mean to have it all together? Like, what does that even mean? Because just like last week, I encouraged you to look at your children's strengths instead of their weaknesses. I want to encourage you to look at your strengths as opposed to your weaknesses, because one area that Ginger may have it all together and I don't so much in that, I may have this area more together and she doesn't, because my strengths are different than her strengths. And so we have to keep that in the forefront of our mind. We have to remember that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, again, it's that comparison game. Everyone has a gift. God created everyone with a gift, and there could be someone with a similar gift to you, but it works out differently in their life. They have different children, different circumstances, and so you have it together. It's just a different together. And like Dee said, you know, it's what's important to you and your family is going to be different than what's important to someone else's family. So having it together is really dependent on what your family's goals are and what your focus is. And there's a level of togetherness, or whatever that even means, that it's not, you can't compare. It's just different. People are different. Life is different. There is no having it together comparison there. It just could be completely different things. Go ahead.
Yes, in our weakness, he is strong, and we need to just have tunnel vision. Like, we need to just stay focused on him. We can't get distracted by the lie that someone else has it together and we don't. The enemy's out to steal, kill, and destroy, and so he wants to steal your joy. He wants to destroy your, your thoughts and your thought life. And so if we keep all of the truths in front of us, then these other things, they don't matter. It doesn't matter what we see on Facebook. It doesn't matter what we, we have to keep that tunnel vision. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's good to rejoice with others when they're having that great stellar day. Oh, that's so awesome. It's one of those things I try to teach my kids, just popped in my head. When they go, someone gets a treat or gets to go somewhere and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, no, rejoice that your sister gets to go do this thing. And it's special for her. It's the special blessing that God gave her. And it's hard for all of us. You like to look at such and so, well, they get to do this, or they get to rejoice that they can. Rejoice that is a part in their life that they're excelling in, and their family is growing or whatever. Rejoice for them and be happy for them, not sad that you're not in the same place. Right. So that's a maturity thing, yeah.
And I think it goes back to, I've said this a million times throughout this whole lie series, but it goes back to when you're looking at someone else and you're thinking other moms have it together and I don't, you're focusing on what you think you lack. You're focusing on the negative, and you're putting so much attention on that it's almost like you're taking that power. Well, I've said before, God has a plan for your family and your kids, and you're not good enough. You're not good enough to mess that up.
Big enough to mess it up.
Yeah, you can't mess that up. So this idea that you don't have it together, I think the root, that goes back to, oh, I don't have it together and I'm messing them up, or I'm messing this up. And You're just not that good, mama.
Yeah.
You have a plan and you can't mess it up. You can't mess it up. You just have to be faithful and show up and be obedient and keep your eyes focused on him and do what you've been called to do, what you have been called to do.
Yeah, I was also thinking, we were talking earlier about those who have been thrust into the kids at home and we're doing school situation. If you have friends like that, you want to encourage them, or if you are in that situation, you have your kids at home and you're like, what? Especially those that I know who have kids using online schooling from their public school situation, that's intense, because each child, if you have many children, each child has multiple teachers, multiple signs in, multiple places to get assignments, and you have to keep track of all that for all the kids. If you find yourself thrust into that situation, that is hard stuff. Like, you need a whole big wall calendar just to keep track of where you can check in and see what your kids are supposed to be doing for school. And then if you're trying to work on top of that, mamas, God bless you, because that is intense stuff right there. And that's not what a homeschool day looks like. It's not managing all those things typically. I mean, I guess if you do a lot of online courses, it could be, but that is a whole nother level of challenge and difficulty. So don't feel like, if you find yourself in that situation, don't be like, oh my word, this is awful, and what's wrong with me, and why can't I keep up with this, and why that is challenging. It is I couldn't imagine trying to keep, especially if little ones, if you have multiple little kids and they're supposed to be logging in, because you kind of have to sit with a little kid to make sure they're not going, like the camera, and they're actually paying attention.
Yeah.
So that is a whole different thing.
It is. And you cannot possibly compare yourself to someone who's been homeschooling for several years or even just a year. I mean, plan goes into it. It was a part of their plan, and now you've been thrust into this and your plan, and so you can't expect it to look the same. You're not going to have it together the way that they do, because they've been planning for it. This is they chose this and they've been planning for it, and even then it's not always easy. We know that. But yeah, and especially then to add in those of you who have to do that and work, it's
really hard. It's really hard. And you know what? Another thing is, those of us who homeschool or plan to homeschool or whatever, it does take weeks to get into the groove. Yeah. When we start school, we're not like instantaneously in the groove and it's like, here we go. I mean, it's the same for us as it is for those of you who send your kids into school, and you got to get back into that groove too. Everyone has to get back into the groove and everything. So honestly, how long have it feels like forever. It's been like 38 days, whatever. But how many weeks have you been? I think they had like 2 weeks off, and maybe you're into your third week, whatever, but it takes weeks to find that groove, and everyone has the pattern and everything. So it's this spring, it's just special. It's just special all around, and everyone's going to look back and be like, what on earth was that spring? It was crazy. So everyone's trying to figure out their groove. So if you do have your kids at home and it was a surprise, and maybe you didn't like the online learning and you've chosen to homeschool, you're like, that's it, I'm pulling my kids out, we're homeschooling, and you're trying to get your feet wet to see what it's like, because maybe you want to continue it, or maybe you just want to finish the school year doing it. Don't be like, oh, these other homeschool moms have it all together. Why is this not working for us yet? It's not been that long. And it does take, it's a good month till we are in the daily routine groove. So give yourself some grace. Just keep on keeping on. You can do it. And, don't compare. And get suggestions from others. Rejoice with others when it's working for them. But don't be hard on yourself that it's not going the way you thought it should go or would go.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So hang in there. We're all through this. We're going to get through this.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
So anything else, Ginger?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah. We're glad we can still be with you, even if it's via Zoom recordings.
Yes.
If you have questions or if there's a need that you have, please let us know. If you have some questions about homeschooling or something that's going on or anything, just let us know. We're here. So
yes. And we have lots of good FAQs and stuff like that, quick start guides out on the chat page and stuff. Please check it out. Share it with people who are, I've been sharing that information with so many people lately. So many people are looking to homeschooling. Please share homeschoolpennsylvania.org with people. Share CHAP online with people. There's a quick start guide right on our webpage, so they know how to get started with homeschooling. Share the information, because that will be very helpful to others. And don't forget, if you already registered for a convention,
yes, we need to.
And Dee needs to know what you'd like to do with your registration. So please comment below or send us a message.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, this has been
Chatting with CHAP.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.